raise your right hand, please. If you swear or affirm the testimony you give in is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the record, I'm Judge Jackson from Mayo. I'm here because Judge Slaughter, the presiding county judge, recused himself. We are here on a petition against repeat violence. Today is April 28th. It's approximately 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. I'll start with what I normally do. I'll start with you first to respond to Mr. Warren. Have you ever been a part of a restraining order before in the past?
No, sir.
Okay. The way it works is, I didn't review this. The way it works is petitioner files a restraining order or petitioner requests to ask for a restraining order. I don't know how Judge Slaughter does it. When I do it, I never meet with parties until you come back to court one day. With that being said, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Hart. Is there anything that you want to add or anything you want to tell me after you've had a chance to reflect on this after this has been filed?
It's pretty accurate, Your Honor. There's some tidbits I could probably add to lead up to the situation that I was unaware of that I learned more recently. Thus, in other words, started happening a long time ago. About 3 months after I started.
Let me start before we get to that point. We're going to get to that in a second. Have you ever been a part of a restraining order before in the past? Okay. The way it works in a case like this, where the restraining order has not been granted, it was just an order was signed, setting it for a day to decide whether one should be granted or not.
Yes.
Things that can happen here today, you may present testimony. Mr. Warren have a chance to present testimony, and we may decide to issue the restraining order, or I may decide as that there's just not enough here to meet the statutory requirement of repeat violence as defined in the statute. And if that's the case, then it will not be granted. Before we get to what you want to tell me, your preference, do you want to continue on with this, and do you want me to listen to your testimony and listen to testimony from Mr. Warren and make a decision today about whether or not a restraining order should be granted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With that being said, I've had a chance to review when Judge Slaughter recused himself. He faxed everything in my office. I've had a chance to review what has been typed out and what was in there when it was first presented. Anything regarding violence or repeat violence that you want to add to this?
Not really violent. Those are just kind of some triggers, I guess would be the better term to display that led up to this situation. And by that I mean the third party involved. I won't bring any names into that. That's absolutely necessary. But it's over a female. I've been here approximately 2 years, 3 months, something like that, working here. I came from out of the county, and about 2 months after I got here, Mr. Warren here called me in his office one day, and he had a phone, a Windstream bill in his hand. And he called me in the office, shut the door, whatnot. He asked me, he said, would there be any way to basically alter it and make it look like it wasn't altered? I was new to the IT field at the point, so of course I would never do that because that's fabricating evidence as far as I know, because I didn't know the purposes behind it, so I don't want to make accusations that I can't back.
Right.
But,
well, let me ask you this. Was this involving the female?
yes. It was her number that he was trying to get off of that I found out from her maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Well, let me ask you this. This female, you don't need to give me her name because she's not really relevant as far as the name. I don't care who she is. All I care about this. Are you involved with her now?
No, not anymore.
You have any contact with her?
No, sir.
To your knowledge, is Mr. Warren involved with her?
Not to my knowledge, not
Okay,
anymore.
here's the question for you. Those of you not, if you're telling me that this is involved some female, if you're not involved with her, Mr. Warren's not involved with her.
The reason we're not is because of this incident that just happened, basically. That's what this all resolved around. Apparently she was being a tidbit of an instigator, and it didn't bother me. I'm not the one who was the aggressor, but apparently some people took it a little bit more to heart, and that's what led up to this situation. That's the only reason I was bringing it up. I don't know, 6, maybe 8 months ago, my timelines aren't going to be exact. I called him Mr. Personality. I guess I was talking to her when I did so, and she somehow I got back to him, so he called me in his office, confronted me with the whole Mr. Personality thing, and at that point, it was just more or less 2 guys not getting along, nothing major, nothing to it. I didn't really read that much into it, but we were on that topic for about 5 minutes, and then we got on the topic of Priscilla, and what were my intentions and this, that, and the other, you know, and I pretty much told him I had no intentions because I didn't. And this is long before we had started seeing each other. But I come to find out, it's just long story short, he was feeling me out to see if I was dating her because apparently he was. Which led up to more of the tension situations that we're dealing with here today. Because I guess that's how it all got driven. I mean, I guess she was just pushing buttons and then one was snapped. And I never had any ill will towards anybody. I mean, we haven't gotten along. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that, but you know, you can still work around people you don't get along. You know, we just try to just stay away from one another. But as time went on, as I did get involved with her, she told me that she was not seeing him anymore. It was exclusive and whatnot, which probably apparently was not the case. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs there because I'm not in her head, but all this leads up to this incident. I mean, I get out of my truck one day and he's talking about threats I'm making through her, and I'm guessing she's just pushing his buttons because I haven't threatened anybody. But that's where this all comes into play. And that's really all I have to add.
She's a third element. It's a pretty big player in this.
Yes.
I main party, so to speak. So since all this, you said you don't have any more contact with her. You stayed away from her.
I talked to her through text the other night. I have it on my phone, but it's not something I can put on paper. We can't pull it off my phone. I am an IT guy. But basically admitting that she was instigating the two of us, you know, trying to use one pawn against the other to, you know, gain whatever she wanted to gain. Like I said, I can't read minds, but
you realize that now.
yes, yes, and that's why I'm no longer involved. I don't want anything to do with it.
So it's already the tension that may have been bothered, like you said, just.
I'd rather just things disperse, you know, I didn't expect for somebody to come attack me in my workplace either.
But you think a lot of it was pretty much there was a flame there and she was putting gas on it. So
Exactly, yes, sir.
And since that time, you stayed away from her and you don't perceive to have anything to do with her other than the occasional text and hello back and forth.
They have, she's the financial director for the sheriff's office. I'm the IT guy for the sheriff's office. So we do billing together, but my mutual bosses, the sheriff and the clerk of the court, have made arrangements to where I do other areas and don't go out there in his area or get around her in her area. I can still do things remotely, but really have no contact. So that's where it stands at this point.
And that's good for your benefit as well, because
I don't want to lose my job. I love my job, Your Honor. It's just a matter of,
this day and time, last thing you want to do is do something that either a male or a female or anyone to lose their job. Let's climb out to the day with the economy like this.
I agree.
Anything that you want to add?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay, briefly, you want to tell me in response to what you told me?
Well, I just want to approach one because I heard the same thing that she was trying to push buttons between the two of us. I haven't been romantically inclined, if that's what term you want to use, for some time, ever since Sean and she started dating, and my wife and I were having issues. Since they started dating, I guess it was in January. But by January, I had enough, and I decided I was going to try to go back and make my marriage work. And that's what we've done. Now, Priscilla and I are still friends. We talk on a regular basis. She's very easy to talk to. And that was one of the things that led up to some of this stuff here between the two of us. I did approach him out there in the parking lot, and that's because I was being told that he was trying to extort her over for some sex, and he was going to do his best to ruin my marriage. I didn't really know, so I asked him. I wanted to talk to him about it that day. He didn't want to talk to me at all. One thing he got out of his mouth was "fuck you, motherfucker," and I did follow him up there to the door, and I said, "Listen, I want you to talk to me. Let's talk about it." He did. If you watch the video, he slammed the door to me several times, and I did push him when I got around the door. I pushed him. Then we had some more words down the hallway. I went in there and saw Priscilla. I said that me and Sean just had a problem. He came back through there again. I said, "Listen, Sean, we need to talk it out." He gave me more than the other, so I followed him back down the hallway. This time. By now, we're both mad. And he slams the door into he opens the clerk's door and slams it into me. And then he slams the door behind him. It's easy to watch the video because you have to watch the hand speed. Hand speed will tell you what you can do, what you can't do. Mine and Sean's problem is we just fail to communicate. We don't talk. And we should have been able to talk about this thing.
Okay, you should have said that he's now home and realized that there was a female that
it's not a romantic thing at all. There's nothing there. You know, I wished him the best. That's what I was telling him when he first started dating Priscilla. I said, fine, great. Y'all come to, if you want to come to my house, have a Super Bowl party. We asked about that. He did ask, and we'll, you know, I have talked to Priscilla in the past. He'll tell you she's very easy to talk to. But I think to some degree that she was trying to play tit for tat, me against him. He was sort of thought. Exactly. But at this point, I said, when Sean first started dating her back in January, I said at that point there we know more about that. I didn't like the fact that he did what he did with that as far as threatening me. I came to ask him man to man. And basically, you know, I wished I had not done this up here because it made my office look bad. Sean and I we just never got along from the get-go. But we've always maintained a pretty good working relationship. And my concern that he's going to get into my computer from time to time and do some stuff to make it look bad, yes, I'm concerned about that. He's got the technology and he's got the capability. I don't possess those skills. And I don't know what to do about that issue, but my understanding is that we've agreed to stay away from each other, and I won't be up here bugging him, and I'm hoping he won't be bugging me, and that's the way we're going to try to, that's the way my boss wants it. I think that's the way his boss wants it. We're going to try to get through it.
That's the way I want it too. If she's out of the picture, everything kind of ties back to her. So if she's out of the picture from your standpoint, and you're back with your wife, and she's out of the picture, which she should be if you're married, and I think that'll alleviate the hot button issue too.
Man, one thing.
Right.
He kind of criminalized me there. I know he's good at that. It's part of the job.
Well,
in the matter of saying that I was the one cussing him. And as we look at the statement, when he came out of when you watch the video, you'll see him when he sees my truck gunning, so he can time it, so he thinks he can get out at the same time when we get out of the trucks there in the parking lot. I didn't get out because I was on the phone. I didn't even see him, to be honest with you. I didn't even know he had a new truck, as far as I was concerned. So he gets out of the truck, staring at my truck, with an attitude as soon as he gets out of the truck. And I, of course, didn't see all this until I saw the video footage. And when I finally did get out of the truck, I guess he forgot his key card. But in the time I was in my truck, as you watch the video, since we're talking about hand speeds and whatnot, you would have to have been sitting there waiting for me to get out of my truck in order, because it wouldn't take that long to get the door back.
well, I'm not just creating the position you were in. I think he's all done it. It's like communication. Maybe he did some things that he shouldn't have done. But I think I think you're on the right path, staying away from one another. If you have any concerns about him, I think you address that with your boss. You do the same thing. It's not set each other's path. As long as she's out of the picture, and I foresee really the situation to getting better in the future. But at this point, based on what you're telling me, it does not meet even what you told me, and I'm not discrediting anything you told me. But it doesn't meet the statutory definition of domestic abuse, not domestic violence, or any dispute violence. It is more just it's more verbal in nature. And like I said, given the fact that you tell me that you both recognize that a lot of it has to do with this Priscilla individual and stirring the pot. Both of you reacted to things you heard from her and to dealing with each other direct man to man. Based on that, again, the injunction is denied.
Okay, now can I ask for like some kind of no contact? So I feel it.
Well, not part of this, but it's been denied. I've got that.
So we'll file another injunction in order to go that route, or what's?
Well, I'll tell anyone, if things progress and things get worse, and there's other instances of violence, you by all means have the right, as Mr. Warren would, to file an injunction, add this to it, build a picture, so to speak, but I'm hoping that won't happen.
I do want to let Sean share this with you. I want to share it with you. This right here is what's called fighting words. It's case law. You might want to be looking at it. I don't care what you do with it. I'm just going to tell you, anytime a police officer says something to you and you say, notice what you said, that's an arrestable offense.
That's
I
not
know
what
what you said. Why you waiting?
I'm done, Judge. You are done.
I apologize, Sean. Right, I'll take it.
Hold on to it.
Good luck, both of you.
Thank you. And, just for the record, I will have no contact with
Both
him.
of you,
If it'll say that'd be great for me.
Okay? Good luck.